Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a new edition of the Daily Debate. In tonight's show, we're going to be focusing on Egypt's national mega projects that have been taken a few years now, and we started and embarked on a whole economic reform program that included the Egyptian national mega projects. We're going to be talking about how these projects will affect employment, will affect the Egyptian economy as a whole. But before we start doing that, let's check out some of the main stories making the news today. And we'll start off with President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi confirming today that the National Project for Egyptian Family Development aims to achieve a balance between the average of population and economic growth, in addition to upgrading the population's characteristics and curing social issues related to families. This came during the President's meeting with Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli and Minister of Planning and Social Development, Hala Said, Minister of Health and Population, Dr. Hala Zaid, and Presidential Advisor for Health and Preventative Affairs, Dr. Muhammad Awad Taghiddin, as well as Head of the National Council for Women, Dr. Maya Morsi. President el-Sisi instructed to collaborate efforts by concerned authorities with the aim of administering the population issue with a comprehensive perspective that develops citizens' life from all health, social, family, and economic dimensions. In this respect, the head of state gave his directives to establish a precise database that realizes an active communication with all sects of the society, benefiting from a decent life initiative to promote the Egyptian countryside. Presidential spokesman Bassam Radi said the meeting tackled the latest developments of the National Project for Egyptian Family Development. Also today, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi held a meeting at the National Planning Institute with the Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli, Minister of Planning and Economic Development, Dr. Hala Said, Chairman of the National Council for Women, Dr. Maya Morsi, and Head of the Economic Policy Center. Presidential spokesman Ambassador Bassam Radi stated that the meeting covered a review of the government's efforts to support the launch of the Human Development in Egypt report. The report is launched in cooperation with the United Nations Development Programme in Cairo after it sought for the past 10 years since 2011. In this context, the President directed the government to undertake accurate documentation of all efforts exerted by the state, which includes all sectors on the national level during the past years, in order to provide accurate and detailed data on the comprehensive and in-depth development extending to all aspects of life in Egypt, which supports monitoring capabilities. President el-Sisi also directed the analysis and accuracy of the indicators issued by specialized institutions regarding the development process in Egypt. These were a couple of stories making the news today, but now let's turn our focus onto the topic in hand, and we'll check out some of the Egyptian national mega projects that should be helping to achieve the sustainable development goal set by Egypt for 2030, and as a part of the whole African goal of achieving sustainable development by 2063. Also, it is a great opportunity to attract foreign investors to the Egyptian market. Let's check out this report and we'll be right back.
President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi has reiterated that Egypt's ongoing mega projects are representing a large opportunity for foreign companies to invest their capital in Egypt. The president stressed that all state agencies are working as a single entity to carry out these projects, starting from the stages of agreement and contracting until the executive steps. The head of state directed the companies to entrench new mechanisms carried out in the past to implement national projects. The president added that the new mechanisms have led to achieving the developmental goals in order to create a better future. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli said the state carries out various mega projects to make use of every drop of water. He revealed the progress Egypt has achieved in its comprehensive development vision, saying that the country is currently implementing 21,000 projects that are set to be finalized within the coming 3 years. The Prime Minister said Egypt's Vision 2030 targets the improving of quality of life for all citizens in rural and urban areas, adding that the country is establishing 30 new cities within the next 4 years at an investment cost of nearly 700 billion Egyptian pounds. He also noted the country has been working in full swing to relocate citizens from unsafe residence to new housing units. He added Egypt has spent 220 billion Egyptian pounds to develop the railway facility and has achieved surplus in its electricity production after investing more than 500 billion Egyptian pounds in the sector. He further explained that Egypt connects with all neighboring countries to export electricity, aiming to become an energy hub in the region. Madbouli further added that Egypt is exerting great effort to develop Egyptian ports with a total investment cost of 50 billion Egyptian pounds dedicated to raise efficiency of dry ports, making Egypt a hub for global trade and providing all services. The Premier said the state is fully working to develop a health affair, citing the 100 Million Healthy Lives initiative that was launched by President al-Sisi, among other initiatives, to end waiting lists for surgeries, improve women's health, and examine students' health at schools and universities. Madbouli said Egypt seeks to apply the newly established comprehensive health insurance system within 10 years instead of 15.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and we're joined here tonight in the studio by Engineer Mejdi السعدني, the economic expert. Engineer السعدني, thank you very much for joining us. Engineer السعدني, now, Egypt has embarked on many national mega projects for a few years now. A lot of people were a bit skeptical about it, thinking, was that the right way to revive the economy? Should we have started with small and medium enterprises, maybe, and then build up onto that? In the end, everybody came around to it, and everyone is seeing the benefits of the national mega projects. We've embarked on many projects in different fields: agricultural, industry, real estate, energy, everything. In your opinion, what was the most significant project that Egypt has embarked that sort of kick-started or gave a shocking sort of impulse for the Egyptian economy as soon as we started this economic reform program?
Okay, let's see. It's a delicate question, but let me take a part of it. Mm-hmm. The mega project is not the road construction, mm-hmm. bridges, industry, or agriculture. The mega project is to build the Egyptian human being. Why? Mm-hmm. We, and when I said we, I'm talking about the Egyptians. For a long, long time, we were the module which everybody in the region looked forward to be like us. Mm-hmm. Even there are families around our areas, they called al-Masri, just a kind of getting close to the Egyptians. The Egyptian people in general. I'm not going to tell you about the pyramids because mm-hmm. everybody knows that we did the pyramids. I'm not going to talk about this. I'm not going to talk about Dr. Naguib Mahfouz or Dr. Zuhail or Dr. Mani Yaqub. No. I'm talking about the normal, average Egyptian man who has a family and he is fighting to survive during years, during decades, and he survived. Those people who went out in the streets in June to change the system because they felt that their identity as Egyptian is questioned. So the mega project is to give the Egyptian people what they deserve. We, again, we, when I said we, I'm talking about the Egyptians. We deserve better, much better. Not because we are made of a different kind or have a different color of blood, no. Because we were there. In the past, we were there. Even in the worst and the black days in the Egyptian history, we were there. Even 1967, in June 1960, in October 73, and after that and before that, we were there. And we deserve better. And the question mark, which makes you wonder what's going on, is that most of the rise in the region are led by Egyptians. Teachers, economic expertise, doctors, and more. So why is the Egyptian person has not what he should have? What is his own right by birth? To be an Egyptian. We deserve better. We deserve to get our dignity back. We lost it for a while. We have to have it. Then, when you build or when we regain our rights as Egyptians, believe me, nothing will stop us. And what I understand, if we separate between philosophical things and lectures, and let's talk to the ground. In June, or after June, the new leadership, actually they inherited a country about to be broken, or maybe broken in some aspect. And in that time, there should be a decision. Either we go to the slow and very bureaucratic way, okay, we make a tender. Okay, I give you an example. Imagine that we need to build a bridge, small bridge, like 50-meter length between two banks of a small canal. Here is the story. The governorate has to send an inquiry to the Road and Transportation Ministry, who has to send to the Planning Ministry in order to ask for a budget. And then when the budget came back, if it came back, they make a tender. The tender takes a month and another month, and then they give it to the lowest bid. The lowest bid normally is under the cost, and everybody knows it's under the cost. So how it will be built? Because it will last maybe for a year and then fall down. And that is the way everybody was asking to be the same way as before June. But in the military thing, or an attitude, we have a target. We want to build a bridge from A to B. We do it. We do it regarding less budget or profit or tender or committees, and they do it right. After June, the country were going to flush down. So they act in a very military way, which I do respect.
Introduce Saadani now to be able to make these decisions right away. It needs some sort of a political will, which the presidency has shown in actually embarking on these projects. And as you've mentioned, the pace and the timing and the duration of carrying out these projects, what's supposed to take 10 years, it's going to happen in 2 years or 3 years. What's going to happen in what should be happening in 20 years will only take 5 years to make. And we've been doing that. It first started off with the expansion of the Suez Canal. You've mentioned that the most important project of the Egyptian society right now is the Egyptian citizen himself. How responsive did you feel the Egyptian citizen is responding to this political will, to the getting the job done as soon and as fast as they can, this building this work ethic, the religion of finishing the work and getting it right, doing it right, and doing it fast?
We have a little hiccup or a problem in this issue. The Egyptian people for over 30 years used to hear, read about things which is not true or never happened. So adoption became a close friend to us. So whenever we hear there is a project A, B, C, D, Y, and it will be so, no. We don't think that it's right. It's no. We just put adoption as a first impression. And even when it happened, they start to give a second thought. You think it is the benefit or for a certain people in the society, or this is for all the people? This adoption became a part of our way of thinking. Okay, it's fed by those people outside the country who are talking about from where he is getting this money, why he is doing this, why he is doing that. Those people are short-sighted. They don't see it. Any civilization in the world, any, and check the history, raises in two ways: either the banks of a river or two sides of a road. When the leadership started with the road construction, it wasn't just like, okay, let's do it. No. It's a high way of thinking, which I do respect and appreciate, because they think the right way. Roads in the veins which transport civilization, people, everything between A and B and C and D. I don't want to give examples with what was in the past. Okay, let's talk about if you want to move from Cairo to Alexandria. In the old days, we were going to the desert road, and actually friends come and wish us the best way because we were having the desert road. Now, with the new system, with the new ideas, which I just made a collection, the president has no political idea. It's not a political. He's a human being. He's an Egyptian. You know, because if we said a political, it means that he has to be right wing or left wing or something. No. The guy has one thing in his mind. This country, these people do not deserve what they have. So we have to have power, and we have it. We have to have roads, and we have it. Roads not for roads, not for showing. No, roads to transport knowledge, people, tourists, economy, goods, and everything from all around the country. Imagine Egypt. We have the first railroad in Africa and the second in the world. We have a huge network, let's say in the dark days. And we have been deteriorating to that level. Why? Because our fortune went somewhere else. Now the guy said, okay, it's our fortune. Let's not get risky somewhere else. Let's look inside. Okay. I never heard about any ideas, dreams of any responsible people in the past of asphalt in the village, in Egyptian village. They dream about asphalt. They see the asphalt in the TV shows. Now, after you remove the random houses, or random housing, you move to the village, and now he is looking to the family. Egyptian. What's Egyptian family? A man, a wife, and children. They have the right to have good learning. They have the right to be taken care of health-wise, and he has to live. I don't want him to be a millionaire, but he has to feel safe, and feeling safe is one of the basic rights of a human being, including Egyptians. This is why we are fighting the terrorists, because we need to go home, have a dinner with kids and wife, and sleep safely. About tomorrow, you don't care about tomorrow because there is someone there, Allah, and his people, like the presidency and his people, his staff, they are looking for us. We are in their debts. So I think the political ideology of the president and his people is to give back the Egyptian what they deserve. Again.
Engineer Saadani, now I want to pick up from a point that you've made, which is really building the Egyptian family, and one of the major national projects was a big reform within the health sector, really having a fully inclusive health insurance system that is being applied, talking about education as well. Now, these two sectors in specific have gone through pretty major changes during the past year as a result of the coronavirus pandemic. All of a sudden, the health issue is not just an Egyptian issue, it's a global issue, and you don't just need to better the health status of the Egyptian citizen, but also having to deal with a pandemic. At the same time, with the education now, e-learning is the name of the game, and everyone is turning into meetings online, doing their courses and maybe examinations online as well. How far do you feel that Egypt has coped during this pandemic? And we're still hearing about a second and a third and a fourth wave, so it is an ongoing process, and it will probably be a way of life for the rest of the near future. How do you feel this has impacted the Egyptian projects within the health and educational sector and the economy as a whole?
I think the impact is not that bad, because it rings some bells, especially in the low level of health care, even in some rich countries. It had nothing to do with the poverty. It's about the system. It's within these dark issues, there is some positive points. It shows us that we have to be concentrating more on the health programs, especially in crisis time like COVID-19. That will improve our capacity to deal with such or different or another, hopefully not inshallah, kind of pandemic. In the beginning, the idea was to confront with the pandemic, with the COVID-19. Later on, it was not the task of the Ministry of Health. It became the task of everybody, because the impact of the health or the impact of the corona to the other parts of the Egyptian society, like economical, like security, like others, has to be taken care of. So it has to be, this is why they make a group, or let's say a small war council, in order to face COVID-19 impact in every sector. The good thing about, not the good thing, let's say the positive thing, is that the reflection on the way of learning, which jumped from A to almost Z, about the e-learning, which is actually, it was there, some countries, or many countries before they did it, not basically or essentially, but they did it. I personally have this experience. My grandson, Yasin, he is having all his lessons in the TV, in the
online,
in his laptop or his iPad, and he's doing well. So I think that will solve another problem of the overpopularity in classes in school, and also can enlarge the base of the e-learning that can reach everybody. I think they dealt with it with intelligence, not by force, but they dealt with it in a good way. The impact on the health and education, even it's COVID-19, but what we did to cope with the consequences of COVID-19 was good.
Now, if we turn to other sectors, we've seen Egypt also embarking on really heavily embarking on the energy, the development of the energy sector here in Egypt. Started off with the discovery of natural gas in the Mediterranean, also building the 3 biggest electrical power plants in the world, talking about solar energy, renewable energy, going green in many of the potential and future projects in Egypt. How far do you think this is benefiting the Egyptian economy? Is it something that would benefit the Egyptian economy right away or in the future, and might be proving to be a little bit costly right now because it's in the transition period?
You should not expect to collect the fruit from the day one of cultivation.
Yes.
And as you know, even in the oil field, the prices of the oil is year in advance. So what I think is that we will see the fruits of our progress in energy field in a short time, not a long term. Because especially gas. Oil maybe takes a bit of time because of from the well to refinery till the end of stream, it takes a bit of time. And you have many competitors. In gas, we have only a few competitors, and they knew our size. They know our size very well, and they calculate every step before they do it. So I think we will collect the fruit of our success in the energy very soon, especially when you start to export energy to neighbors, Libya, Sudan, Jordan, even across the Mediterranean. You will be the supplier.
Yes.
One of the good things of being a supplier is that you live in a happy way, because everybody wants to keep you happy. Because sometimes if you are not happy, maybe something happened on the well, something happened in this transportation. So, so everyone around us, with a mutual respect, will support us, will help us, and we will be a part of a group. Maybe we'll be the head of a group, especially for the natural gas production countries, and that will be a good thing, like OPEC, something like that. So I think in solar energy in south of Egypt, it's a fortune. It's a gift from Allah. You have the right, and you have the right technology, and we have the right minds. One of our expertise now, he's in the States, Dr. Amr, is one of the few in that field. And he was in Bimban project. He was in charge there.
Yes.
So we have the people, we have the source, and we have the customers around us. We have the customers. So I think one of the, I don't say mega project, because mega is not enough. When you talk about the gas and the Daba project and the solar, it will be a different story, my friend.
Yes.
We will be there somewhere in the top in a few years. I wouldn't say that my grandkids, no. We will see the fruits in a very short time. I hope, inshallah.
Well, Over many decades, the issue of actually attracting foreign investors to the Egyptian market has always been a goal in itself, a priority. And we've always been talking about amending the investment law, really attracting the foreign investor here, making it a safe market to actually come invest. And maybe it's easier to get in, but a little bit harder to get out of it for the foreign investor. Now, all these projects are really aiming to alleviate the Egyptian economy. We still need foreign investors, but do we still need the foreign investors as badly as we used to over the many decades ago? Do we still need the know-how and the expertise? How much are we really dependent and wanting to attract foreign investors?
No, we don't. We were not like before. Mm-hmm. Why? Let me correct one thing about the idea of foreign investors, because foreign investors mean European or American. Mm-hmm. No, not anymore. Not anymore. And if you look to the map of the foreign investor in Egypt now, I cannot confirm 100% the information, but Indian, Chinese, and Arabs mm-hmm. are now almost the majority. In a direct way or indirect way. Mm-hmm. How indirect way or indirect way? Direct way, it's they felt, Indians and Chinese, mm-hmm. they felt that Egypt in that corner of the continent can do a lot. And with the economical ties with the countries, they can produce in Egypt, they can start in Egypt, then go flow around the continent in an easy way. Number one. Number two, the Arabic investors, due to some economical reasons in the area, some stability, instability, some bad relationship with another country like Turkey, they think that Egypt is a safe haven for their investment. We don't need them badly as they need us. Mm-hmm. Now about the indirect. Most of the international companies either owned totally by Indians or Chinese, or they have a big portion. So when we have, imagine that we have tomorrow Jaguar want to mm-hmm. make a factory in Egypt. Jaguar owned by Indians. Mm-hmm. So it's not only the foreign investor means European or American. No. Now, basically from China and from India. Especially mm-hmm. China and India, in the beginning, they suffered much more than us. So they know what does it mean to invest. It's not because they are coming from the top. We are the high tech, we are the capital, we are whatever. No. Those people are coming with humble way of investment, and they know, they realize that you have to scratch my back and I scratch your back, not mm-hmm. I am your boss. Yes. So I don't think that we need that. And another way, how many heavyweight Egyptian, I don't say millionaire, a businessman mm-hmm. in Egypt, own business outside Egypt, not even inside Egypt. Those people are powerful enough to play a role in the Egyptian economy. I don't want to give names, but mm-hmm. everybody knows what I mean. Mm-hmm. Okay, if we want to make a new Suez Canal, you just call for it. You will get the fund, you will get the contractor, you will get the mines, you can do it. Okay, it's nice to have the foreign investor to make some projects around the Suez Canal, but we can do it ourselves. We don't need. Mm-hmm. If we want to make a new high dam, we will not ask for the IMF fund to finance us. Mm-hmm. No, we do not need that. Okay, it's better to have, but without, we will never die, because we have the other investors, China, Japanese, yes. in a way, mm-hmm. Indians, Some European, like the German, they are considerable businessmen. They are looking to figures. You know, they don't talk from here. They look to the figures and they dealt with the outcome of the projects. So we don't. Yes, I can stress in this point. I said we 100%. We accept, we welcome, but it's not a must.
Yes.
We can survive without.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, also another mega project that Egypt has embarked on is creating a new delta. Now, this is located near the western side of the north coast, close to El Daba power plant, nuclear power plant. Let's check out this report and we'll be right back.
President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi has ordered the implementation of a mega project to cultivate 1 million fidans west of the Nile Delta in Lower Egypt. The project, dubbed New Delta, aims to create modern agricultural and urban communities, as well as industrial complexes that operate in the field of agricultural production. According to presidential statement, the project west of the Nile Delta and Lower Egypt is part of the government's plans to create new agricultural and urban communities characterized by modern administrative systems. The project along the Daba axis on Egypt's northwest coast will encompass industrial complexes based on agricultural production and create thousands of new jobs. The New Delta project is the future of Egypt. It is to be implemented in 2 years. The Minister of Agriculture, Said Al-Qusir, said the new cultivated lands will be planted with strategic crops such as wheat, corn and vegetables. With the new project, the government hopes to secure adequate food products for its growing population. The project basically aims to achieve food security, fulfill the growing needs of the increasing population for foodstuffs, and reduce dependence on importing of strategic foodstuffs. The government earlier unveiled a project dubbed Egypt's Future for Agricultural Production to cultivate 500,000 fidans on Egypt's northwest coast. Authorities say the project aims to provide high-quality agricultural products at reasonable prices, bridging the gap in the local market between production and imports and providing foreign currency for the national economy. The two projects are expected to help bridge the food gap in Egypt. The New Delta project is close to population centers and represents a great opportunity to increase Egyptian exports due to the region's proximity to the main ports on the Mediterranean Sea. The project will create thousands of job opportunities for Egyptians. On the sidelines of the inauguration of the Fayrouz fish farming project in Port Said, President al-Sisi announced a national project to develop the Egyptian rural areas. The project, which will take 3 years to conclude, will serve up to 1,500 of Egypt's rural villages and is currently in its early stages.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, continuing our discussion with Engineer Saadani. Now, having this new delta, hundreds of thousands of fidans, such a project is really, people are aspiring that it would actually supply Egypt with enough food and Egypt would be self-sufficient in terms of agricultural products and food security. And it's not just this project, but also many developmental projects that are taking place in Upper Egypt as well, also in the Sinai Peninsula. Now, all these projects need a lot of financing, they need a lot of manpower, they need a lot of water as well. We're building 2 major desalination plants, and we're also in the ongoing negotiations regarding the Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. How essential and how critical do you feel such a project, the new Delta, will be, especially considering its relation to the water security and the Ethiopian Renaissance Dam?
Okay, let's put some facts together. First fact that, as it was said, Egypt is a gift of Nile. Nile is the water, okay? And we have two rivers. One which we are watching and seeing and enjoying, and there's one underground. Dr. Faroul Bez.
Yes.
This number one. Number two, from day one, from the ancient history, we were agricultural country. We were feeding Rome. No, sorry. We were feeding the
Roman Empire.
The Roman Empire, not only Rome. And I think the delta, that size of delta, I'm not that perfect in geography, but I think it was larger. And I think that the West Desert was green sometime. So if you feel your needs of food, this is a dream of everyone. And I hope it will be. It will be done.
Engineer Saadani, now talking about the major economic impacts and repercussions as a result of these mega projects that have been taking place over the past few years. We've seen the Egyptian economy go through a lot of ups and downs, the flotation of the Egyptian pound, lifting the subsidies, and then the Egyptian pound, the value rises yet again against the dollar. Talking about all these projects, and simultaneously, over the past few years, the Egyptian population has actually increased about 20 million. Now, how far do you feel we've been able to find a good balance or a satisfactory balance between the overpopulation, between the economic benefits, also talking about many awareness campaigns for limiting the number of family members and all of these things. How far do you feel, where do you feel the Egyptian society is in relation to inflation, employment, manpower, food security, health security, educational security?
See, I may have a bit different opinion in this issue, because human being is a blessing from Allah. And the intelligence is to use your problem to generate a solution for the problem and other problems. And let's ask ourselves a question. Imagine in the past years, the hard years, Egypt was only a couple of, let's say, 20 million or something like that. Would it be the same weight as it's 90 or 100? Of course not. So, I cannot say overpopulation, because we are not overpopulation. We have too many people, but it's not overpopulation. The intelligence is use this population to turn them to a productive power. So it's not how many persons we have per square meter. It's not the question of how many young men in employment rank. No. The question is, how can you these people to generate economical benefits? Okay. Let's come to the youth. I don't want to give example which makes many people too upset. In the few past years, we received many immigrants from different Arab countries.
Yes.
Those immigrants, they came, most of them, running away skipping their life to our country, to the Egyptian heaven, which they are welcome. In a few years, they have it all. They made business, they own their own business. There are jobs in Egypt, there are works in Egypt enough for the Egyptian and the others. The problem is how to tune the quality of the Egyptians, because for many years, we were depending on the government to get us the job, the house, the food in mouth, food on the table, getting to school and everything. No. None of this idea is workable, not anymore. Not in our country, everywhere in the world. We have to work to earn what we are eating, what we are doing, what we are having. So we have to improve the quality of the person, not eliminate the quantity. Do you know that China has stopped acting with the law of one child? Because they found out that India manpower now is cheaper than the Chinese manpower, and they are a direct threat. They stop the principle of one child per family, because human being is a blessing from Allah. The only thing you have to do is to treat him well, to take care of him well, to tune his bad points to a good points, to raise up his quality, and then put him in fire. He will come out with something. We have millions of desert. Okay, come back to the water. If we give the land in a good way, not like the other ways, and I mean fair way, and whatever you cultivate, it's yours. It's, by the way, Allah's rule. And we give them the infrastructure, water. Okay, we have the Nile, we have the underwater, we have desalination, we have the 2 seas. Okay, we will do something about Sadd al-Nahda, the Nahda Dam. It will be done a way or another. It will be in the story will be in, because this is a fact of life we should not argue about. But put every Egyptian capable for work to work.
Yes.
How? Either to train, and I will give you now an example, you wouldn't believe it. Train them for something they can do. Do you know that in a country like Philippines, the nursing or the hospitality is the first source of income? They are exporting people to every corner of the earth, and they are the most qualified in hospitality and nursing. You find them everywhere.
Yes.
From Canada to the Middle East.
Well, Engineer Saadani, because we're running out of time, I want to go back to the point you've made at the very beginning of the show, which is talking about the development of the Egyptian citizen. That's the main national mega project. Now you're saying the training of the Egyptian citizen. In your opinion, you know many different international examples of training citizens, but which sectors do you feel Egypt would benefit most of training its citizens? Are we talking about the information communication technology?
Number one.
Yeah, we were talking
IT,
about agricultural. And how do we do it? Do we get people with no experience whatsoever about such a field and then train them from the start, or do we get people who already have some sort of an experience and just develop it? Which is the best and shortest and most effective way?
From zero. Why? Because when you come with having a background, maybe you clash with the new ideas, so it came up with nothing. No, it's very easy. What do we have? We have a crisis in food and cultivation. Okay, we need farmers. A farmer shouldn't be that farmer in Abdul Wahab movie, old movies. No, the farmer could be a guy who's driving a tractor with a license. We need farmer, we need industrial people, we need laborers, and we need teachers, we need doctors, and so on. Now, just check out what do we need what do we need in which sector, and then ask for the people. You will find, in every corner in Egypt, you will find an Egyptian person who is ready to do something. Not only for him, for himself, for his family, and for the country.
Yes.
But just give them the chance.
Yes.
That's it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as Engineer Saadani has pointed out, Egypt has embarked on many national mega projects for a few years now. Definitely it has positively affected the Egyptian economy, but still the main project that Egypt is embarking on, the most important one, is the Egyptian citizen himself. This definitely includes every single one of us and every potential Egyptian citizen really being a positive and additional part of the Egyptian society. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for this edition of the Daily Debate. But before we go, I'd like to thank my very distinguished guest, Engineer Mejdi Saadani, the economic expert. Engineer Saadani, it was a pleasure having you with us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, please stay tuned for more coming up on Nile International. I'm Hani Saif. Thank you for joining us.